Hi, this is Steve. It's Sunday, September 20th, 2009. This is my first YouTube upload. I've had the equipment for several years, but never have done anything, but I figure everyone else is doing it, so why can't I? And I've definitely got an opinion on this subject. I've been a Mac user for several years. I started in 1990. I worked on my first Macintosh, and I've owned probably a dozen of them over the last 20 years. I've had up to 7 at one time in my office, so I'm a very big Apple supporter, love their products. The subject is Apple versus Psystar. Everyone knows who Apple Computer is. Psystar is a startup company based out of Miami who buys off-the-shelf hardware, computer hardware, and puts together computer systems and installs the Apple OS X operating system on them and resells them. And according to Apple, this violates their end-user license agreement, and Apple has taken Psystar to court, suing them for violating that end-user license agreement. The end-user license agreement states basically that you can purchase the Apple software, but you can only install it on an Apple-labeled computer or piece of hardware. And I think that's wrong. I think when you purchase something, you own the right to use that something however you like, especially when it comes to an operating system. The problem is that Apple makes software and hardware, so they have a vested interest in forcing people to use that software on their hardware. Now they'll come back and say that, well, it's for the sake of stability and the overall user experience, and I agree. They're very smooth systems. They work. They don't break. But Apple systems, high-end systems like the one I need, cost $5,000 or more. Psystar, using off-the-shelf hardware products that you can buy yourself, creates systems for half the price. It seems pretty official to have in your end-user license agreement a statement that says once you purchase this software, you can't install it on another machine, but is that really legal? It's not a legal document. It's just Apple saying, these are our terms of use. I think it's wrong, actually. I think when you buy an intellectual property or when you buy something, you can do what you want with it. You've purchased the right to use that software. And just like PC manufacturers like Dell and Compaq, don't they install Windows operating system on their machines? And if you buy a new machine, you can transfer it to another machine. I don't think Apple has the right to put such restrictions on the end user as to tell them what they can do with the software once they purchased it. So I think Psystar has a good case. I don't think they'll win the case. I think because they're going up against a huge corporation like Apple, they're going to get shut down or cease and desist, and they're going to have to sell something else or not exist anymore. They did file for bankruptcy. They're out of bankruptcy now. They just hired a new attorney, I think out of the Texas area, to represent them, and the case goes to court on January 11th of 2010. I need a new machine. And I need a high-end machine. So rather than fork over $4,000 or $5,000 for a high-end Mac, I'd like to spend half that on a Psystar that has the Mac operating system on it. So I'm waiting for this decision before I make my purchase. I don't want to buy a Psystar now and then have them shut down and have an obsolete system. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on this case, Apple versus Psystar. And if it's ruled in favor of Psystar to continue selling these systems, I'm going to buy one at half the price of an equivalent Mac. And it's nothing against Apple. I've been a supporter for years. They research and develop these systems and they fine-tune them. They're the best in the world, in my opinion. But it's a tough economy, and I'd like to pay half the money for the same system, and that's all based on the end-user license agreement. I think it's unfair, and I think people should be able to buy the operating system and use it on whatever computer they like. Sorry, Apple.